Okay, so maybe you can switch off in the meantime your microphone.
Okay, I switch it off.
And I will start now. So, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen from Europe, and also good evening to the people who are joining from Asia, and good morning to those people who are joining from America and South America. I would like to welcome you to this virtual conference. The topic is sharing experiences about entrepreneurship, and it is co-organized by the Food Star Project and by the Food Lab Project and supported by the ISEKI-Food Association with administration and sharing this tool. The agenda of today is I will shortly introduce you to the system, how you can actively participate. Then I will give a short introduction to the Food Star Project, and then Benoit will introduce the Food Lab Project, and then we will have different presentations from young business entrepreneurs. All of you can ask questions. We would prefer that everybody can put his questions in the system during the presentation, and at the end there will be a discussion, so you can also raise your hands. I will show you in a few minutes how you can do that. You can raise your hand and then we can open your microphone and you can also talk to the audience. After that there will also be a small evaluation by a follow-up email. About the system, the interface, what you see on the screen may be different depending on the operating system, but the main picture should look like this. So you will have several buttons on your control panel. There is a box where you can post your question. Then there is also an arrow with which you can minimize and your control panel, and also maximize again. Maybe it's somewhere hidden behind another window. You can also increase the screen to the full screen with this icon. This is the button I mentioned already where you can raise your hand, and then the administrator will be notified and can open your microphone. You can also mute and unmute your microphone by yourself by clicking this button. During the presentation, all microphones will be muted, and I also would like to inform you that the session will be recorded, so other people who arrive later can also review this session and conference. If you have any questions, you can already put your questions into the chat box, or you can also raise your hand and we will open your microphone. So until now, nobody raised your hands, and I also do not see any questions. So I will start with a brief introduction of one of the two projects. These are a Knowledge Alliance project. One of them is the Food Star project, which started in 2015 and will end in April 2018. It's coordinated by myself. My name is Gerd Schleining. I'm from the University of Natural Resources and Life Sciences in Vienna, Austria. The vision of our project was, because there are two worlds. One is the universities, the academia. On the other side, we have the food industry. And obviously, we know, all of us, that there is a gap between these two worlds because we have different aims and visions. And for example, the universities, they always focus on research. They are looking for fundamental mechanisms. They want to publish their work, whereas the food industry focus mainly on they want to have practical solutions. They want to keep their knowledge, so they're very keen on the intellectual property rights, and they always have time constraints because of the daily business. So with our project, we want to close this gap and bring them together with different activities. And what we found out also in the meantime is that it's important to look for long-term partnerships, and we will do this on a European level, and also to start not with too high expectations and start with clear and simple goals. Our consortium consists of 7 universities, 3 food companies, and 11 multipliers and training providers. The 3 food companies, they are GP Foods, Frulag, and Nestlé, so they are big companies, large entities, but we mainly want to focus on small and medium companies. That's why we have on board all these 11 multipliers. These are mainly associations in the different countries dealing with the small and medium companies. Yeah, you see here several logos of the partners. In the meantime, we have already additional partners which don't receive funding, but they also actively participate in our project. I will not go in details about the names of the different partners. You can find this presentation also on the website later on, where you can read the details. Important that is that we have partners related to our target groups, which are the industry, the teachers, and also the students. One main thing what we want to achieve with our project is to work on innovation. And innovation means that the companies needs access to expertise of up-to-date and also new technologies, and it needs also multidisciplinarity. And with this project, we want to support these. You don't see my screen? Sorry.
I only see the first slide.
Sorry, I just was informed that my screen is not visible. So maybe I try again. Do you see?
Ich sehe nur die erste Slide.
I don't know if you, maybe the panelists can help me. Do you see the screen now? Or just the first screen?
Yes. Yes, now.
Yes, I do.
It's okay.
Yes, now I can see the screen.
You see the screen about innovation?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for that, but the presentation will be anyway on the website available. So what we want to achieve with this project, we know that in many countries there are regional cooperations between industry and between universities. So there are clusters, there are competence centers doing this work. So in many countries we have this, but with our project we want to connect these regional cooperations and bring them to a European level. That means, for example, companies from Portugal can have access to experts in France if this expertise is not available in their country. For example, Austria is a small country. We don't have all the expertise. So with this project, also the Austrian companies and Austrian universities could have access to expertise in other regions. We want to achieve this knowledge exchange with the so-called Food Star Center. So we established this center. It's a virtual network, but with physical hubs in different countries. So we will have a hub in Vienna, for example, which is organized by BOCO and by the LBA. It's a research institution. We have one in Hohenheim, one in Paris, one in UK, in Leeds, one in Portugal, one in Italy, and also one in Spain and in Athens. So we have these different physical hubs, and they will be the interface of this network to the local companies. And we have developed in this project several activities. I will not show you all of them, just focus on some of them. So we have activities related to training. So we were organizing workshops, we are organizing webinars. We have also some online courses available. I would like to draw your attention to the webinars. They have been very successful, and all of you, they are free available, and you can find these. They are also recorded, and you can find all these on the Foodstar website. The very specific topics have been dealt with these webinars, from legislation, special microbiological topics, packaging, and so on. We want also to have this European Foodstar Center as a kind of service center. This was the request from the industry. They want to have a one contact point. So if they're looking for experts and partners, they don't want to go to databases. They just want to contact one institution to do the work for them. And this is something what we want to achieve. We have also started with an expert database where experts can fill in their data, and they can also be found in this database. Also, we want to make resources available to our partners, for example, pilot plants, special laboratory equipment also from other countries, and also some documents which are needed for collaboration, for example, IPR agreements or contracts to support small and medium companies in the cooperations with universities. We also want to provide a kind of garage so that new developments can be undertaken in a kind of protected environment, where we'll try to provide and support the partners with the resources. This is an example of the expert database, so everybody is also invited to put his or her expertise in this database. You just need to log in, and then you can insert your expertise, and it's categorized according to different food sectors, fish, fruits, grains, but also to different categories, processing, labeling, entrepreneurship, and so on. I also would like to mention one activity which is also quite successful. It's an international student competition where we involve the industry. It's similar to the ecotrophilia, but not the same, because we don't focus on product development, we focus on problem solving. So the idea is that the partners, the industry defines a topic, and then teams of 3 to 5 students can find together and try to find a solution. So these are some examples of topics which have been provided by the industry, and we had a first edition already last year, and there were also the winner was a project, I think a team from Brazil. It was not only for Europe, but we also opened it to all over the world. And now I think the call will be open for the next edition very soon. You can find more details also on our website. We support also mobility, not only student mobility, but also the mobility of teachers. We want also to support the possibility that teachers can go to the industry and also see the what's going on in the real world. Also, we want to bring industry staff to universities to be trained on new methods, technologies, and so on. We also support the continual professional development with a special website. You can find the link here. On this website, we have developed certification schemes for people who want to get a certain certificate for certain knowledge and skills. There will be also a database on training activities, so you can find the right training to achieve these qualifications. And we are also certifying trainings also from training providers. On the website you find also a database of job applications. So there is companies can provide open positions, but also students can put their CV and their expertise in this database, so also companies can find people there to employ them. So these are the job offers, for example. As I said, these Food Star Center, the members are the project partners, then we have the associated partners, but it's open also for external people, partners from the food industry, can be training providers or other universities. And if you are interested to join, you just go to the website. At the moment it's free until the end of the funding of the project. It will be free later on. We have to think how we can finance our activities. So this was a short introduction of our project. Now I think Benoit will introduce the second project, the Food Lab project, which is very much related. It's also on the food sector and also on entrepreneurship. Benoit, do you have a presentation? Shall we?
Yes, yes, of course.
I will.
Lynn, can you give me the hand?
Yeah. Okay.
Normally you should have it.
Now.
Can you see it?
We see your screen. Yes, we see your screen.
Okay, fine. So hello everybody, I'm Benoit Cuillère from the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vaucluse, and I'm here to present you the Food Lab project, which is also a European initiative. It is a project that is similar to Food Lab, with to Food Star, with some differences, and I'm going to show you, to present you a little bit of this project. So first, can you see the second slide? Normally you should see it.
Yes.
First, I would like to introduce the context of the project briefly. We, CCIV, Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vaucluse, we manage a competition which name is ISEKI-Food since a long time, 18 years in France and a little bit less than 10 years in Europe. This competition is a competition between agri-food high schools who compete, who present some innovating products in the agri-food business, and compete in front of a jury and try to find the best ideas for the future of the food industry. This competition is a success, obviously. We present in France 20 projects per year, about 20 projects per year in France. We have between 15 and 18 countries in Europe who organize their national competition, just like in France. At the total, we have presented more than 700 products through more than 100 national competitions, and we involved more than 500 universities in Europe, so that's much. The quality and the completion of the project actually is increasing, and most of the projects that are presented during the competition are what we call business ready, so ready for business. This is a nice picture, but in the reality, what we see is that only 10% of these products go further than the competition, and we have very few business creations. So that was the challenge, the initial challenge. Sorry? That was the challenge we had to raise for Food Lab. The first challenge we wanted to raise was to just like for Food Star, to build some bridge between the industrial world and the academic world, and what we made for that was building a web platform, including a big database, including HEIs and companies, contacts, different incubators, and so on. We built an innovating e-learning platform similar to Food Lab, based on Moodle. And we also built some interesting tools to foster entrepreneurship and to help future entrepreneurs to build their business model, business plan, finance stuff, and so on. Some figures about the projects. We are 15 partners, including 5 universities, 5 national federations, 3 private industrials, 1 research center located in Hungary, and 1 coordinator, which is the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Vaucluse. We have 6 countries: Czech Republic, France, Hungary, Italy, Spain, and Slovenia. 80 people are involved in the project. Mostly half of the people are teachers. Another half are coming from the industrial world or from the federations. It's divided into 8 work package. It's a 3 years project which started in 2015. More than 5,000 man days, and budget is about 1 million. So both projects, FoodStar and Food Lab, are very similar. They both deal with building an education platform. They are both coming from the Knowledge Alliance program. We have some common partners, like some federations, like the French Federation, the ANIA, is an example. Both are in the food business, but the difference, the main difference, is that we, Food Lab, are focused mostly on entrepreneurship. We do not cover process, which is the contrary to FoodStar. Next, I would like to present you an overview of the work that has been done on the web. We have a main website, which is the foodlab-eu.com, which leads to first the education platform, to an international database. We have the tools for entrepreneurships that I told you a little bit before. We have also some interesting sections, including testimonials, including some interesting videos, some sections showing the different facilitators you have in the different countries of Europe that are involved in the Food Lab project. So everything, you can find it on the main portal, foodlab-eu.com. And if you want some more information, you can connect to this through this platform. And that's okay for me.
Wiederhören. Wiederhören.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you very much, Benoit. I think now it's time that Christian will take over. He will moderate and first maybe introduce himself and then moderate the different presentations. So can you open your microphone?
Right, that's it. Yeah, good afternoon to everyone. I'm pleased to be with you this afternoon to moderate this exchange. Just to introduce myself, I'm actually one of the members working in the Food Lab project and sitting at ISARA Lyon, which is one of the engineering high education school specialized in agriculture on food industry, actually preparing engineers training. Personally in charge of the food industry and food science department, and we have a big focus in the group on entrepreneurship, since we actually host a incubator, of which there will be a few representatives in the following presentation. Now, having said that, I think it's good that now we take stock of what we have just heard, the 2 presentations from FoodStar and Food Lab. and let's see right now through a few examples how things can do work actually practically. And then as we go on, I think I would invite all of you actually to raise questions and make some notes so that we can have a fruitful debate at the end of these presentations, to actually clarify for those who need clarifications, but also to bring some answers to queries and concern that might be raised in the context of your own projects, but also maybe ideas or elements of project you'd like to develop in the future. So in terms of proceeding, we'll be starting with Mrs. Elodie Germain to start with, unless Benoit has arrived, has he?
No, he has not arrived.
No news, not arrived yet. So we'll be starting with Elodie. So each presenter will present for 10 minutes, and then we'll follow those 10 minutes presentations by 5 minutes questions, which I will actually speak out to you all, and then we'll get an answer expressed by the presenter himself or herself. So quite simple process, and then we'll go in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 to 9 different rounds, and then after we will have a general conversation. Okay, over to you, Elodie. Yeah.
Yes. Hello.
To present
Hello,
your own
everybody.
case.
Yes. So I'm the co-founder of Les Trois Chouettes. Les Trois Chouettes is a French startup. We found it with, well, we are Delphine and Elodie. We are two friends and sisters-in-law, two food lovers convinced that aperitif is better than peanuts and that we deserve more than a gherkin made in India in our sandwiches. So with our pickles, we decided to propose a new condiment to French people, and also to propose another food model based on local and organic sourcing. We also buy our veggies directly to the farmers we work with at a fair price to contribute to the local economic development. So we make pickles. We produce pickles. French do not normally eat pickles. It's a kind of American or a British product. But so we produce pickles from organic vegetable ground by producers, settled near our workshops, production workshops. If you don't know what pickle is, it's simple. It's a preparation of vegetables preserved in vinegar and with also some herbs and spices. And we have various recipes. We have cauliflower with turmeric, carrot and ginger, radish mint, cucumber, with chili, zucchini and curry. So it's crunchy, crispy and sparkling sweet and sour. And they are great with many dishes like appetizers, with salads, sandwiches, with meat or everything, I mean. And it's a new way of eating vegetables. Up here it is. So for appetizers, for example, with a little slice of bread and cheese, it brings some color to the plates, and also in sandwiches with salmon, and also on salads. It brings some crunchiness to salads and some color. Our model I was talking about, so we are working with 3 organic farmers that are settled at less than 250 kilometers, so it's about 200 miles from our workshops. Then we have 2 workshops, and then we distribute our products in some delicatessens and organic stores. Actually, we have around 200 stores that sell our products. We also have our shop, www.lestraischouettes.fr, where we sell our products. This is our producers, and for us it's really important to present them and to show them, because we too long we forgot who made our products, and for us it's really important to present them on our websites, on our social networks. We make events to meet our community, and because it's important for us to make them taste our products. So how did we start? The idea at the beginning was to propose something new. The fresh supermarket shelves a new terrine or pâté, French pâté. But it was difficult to launch a meat product, because when you begin you get some certifications, and we wanted to propose something more innovative, more vegetal, and also fresh is really complicated for a young company like ours, because you have to produce your products, you don't have enough money to spend on communication, and then you have to throw things, and it was really not our meaning to throw and to waste food. So I remember the pickles I was preparing with my roommate, my US roommate, and we were making fridge pickles with several vegetables. It was really tasty. It was yeah, it was really good. And I remember that so it was not fresh, it's a preserve. So to start with, it was a really good idea. And at the same time, I watched TV reports about the extra fine gherkin that today is grown in India. First, it was a very French vegetable, but in the beginning of the 2000s, the food system decided to grow this in India because it's less expensive. There is 3 seasons to harvest the gherkin. Meanwhile, there is just 1 in France. So the gherkin has been exported, and for us, that little vegetable that in reality represents French gastronomy, exported in India, it was the symbol of the drift of the food industry. So we decided to tackle the gherkin by proposing our organic vegetable pickles, local and full of peps. So how did we start? We started with our money, our economies, our savings, and we also asked our family to participate to our project. So today, our business is totally family run. We were just also helped financially by the region, Île-de-France region, to start the developments, and we were helped for that because we needed an agronomist to develop our recipes to make them safe for consumption. So this is how we start. Of course, we met some difficulties because for us it was a very new job. Delphine was had skills in the economics and me in the communication, but apart from cooking in our kitchen, we were totally beginners. So we were helped, as I say, by an agronomist to ensure the security of our preserve by a pasteurization product. Other difficulty, the tension on supplies on organic vegetables, because there is a lot of people are asking for organic vegetables and there is not enough offer. The farmers tend to convert themselves to organic production, but it's slow, so it's difficult to source organic and locally. So we had to contractualize with some producers, and we signed something. We planify the plantation of crops, and then we follow them. We also deal with groups of producers because then the logistics is simpler. Another difficult is because we are young, so we have to produce online with the requests. More and more places ask for our pickles, but we are small, so we need to produce, and we cannot produce too much because it costs money. So we have to find the right level. So for that, we found several production workshops that we may with whom we work, and we communicate the commercial and the production is always talking in order to produce the just level of pickles. Another difficulty is to guarantee the consistency of the quality of our products, because we're not making ourselves the pickles. This is people that are working for us. So, but we follow the production once a month, and we have some recipes really clearly explain of what we are waiting for and which mistakes not to do. Another difficulty is that vegetable pickles, as I was saying, are little now to the general public. So we need to communicate to introduce new uses, new tastes, to quickly recruit consumers, and also to settle as a leader on the pickles before potential competitors with stronger means settle on the market. So for that, we are telling our stories on our social networks. We created some new stickers on our preserves to show how to eat and how to eat the pickles, everything. And now a few pieces of advice if you want to start your own business, your own food business. First, I would say that it is really important that you find some associates with complementary skills. Business school and large group of distribution of consumer products for Delphine. I did a school of journalism and then communication. So we have really distinct roles in our association. Delphine is in charge of the commercial strategy and its implementation, production monitoring and logistics, and I deal with the development of new products, supplies, and also communication. The second advice I would give you is that you have to think about what can differentiate yourself from large companies. For example, we decided that organic and local were a barrier at the entrance for the big groups that cannot source organic plus local veggies. For them, they have their volumes are too important. So this is our differentiation. Then I would advise you to think about why you do your business instead of what you are doing when you communicate to the people. That means which reason led you to do this project instead of another? Why you believe in this project instead of what, for example, I am doing pickles that are good because you can eat them and they are crispy and they are crunchy. No, and we do it because why? Because we think that a new agro model is possible based on organic, and working with local farmers and and then last but not least, keep daring and always believe in what you're doing, because if you're convinced, it's sure that it's a good idea. And that's it for me. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Elodie. It was a great presentation, I must say. Now down to questions. I don't see any question at the moment that have been potentially raised.
Question now.
Not at all. Yeah, maybe I will make an attempt and raise the first question. First of all, I quite like the piece of advices you've been giving just at the very end. Because at the end of the day, I understand actually, it's much less about the what. It's much less about the idea that about who hold the project, who hold the initiative, and the way you are going to tackle it. Yeah, this is why you have been focusing on the why rather than the what. This is important to say, okay, I want to do that. I need also to set of skills and who can complement actually my initiative. So in that context, my question would be, how did you tackle the technical issue? Was it a difficult topic or not? Because amongst you two, Elodie and Delphine, none of you had specifically technical skills.
Yes, so for that we worked with a technical center called Adrianor, which is based in the north of France. And there was an agronomist, Jérôme, that we worked with him for all the pasteurization process of our products. We are constantly in relation with him, and if we have a technical question.
Hello? I can't hear you.
We cannot hear you, Elodie.
Elodie?
Me neither.
Elodie, can you say something again? We lost contact with you.
Sorry?
Yeah.
Is that coming back?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Elodie, so we lost, I think, your last talk.
So I was saying that, yes, so we worked with a technical center. That helped us to ensure that our products was good to sell with the pasteurization issues and all that. And now and we call him like every week when we have a difficulty or a question to ask him, this agronomist. But then our priority is to recruit, to employ an agronomist, because we are making a food product, so we need one. First, to develop new recipes, and second, to work with the workshops also.
Okay, maybe a very last question, because we are the 5 minutes are over. I must say, so anyway, what did you find out the most difficult by far in your project? But we need a short answer.
The most difficult by far.
Yeah, top of mind. What has been the biggest hurdle?
To tackle every subject you have to, from the commercial to the communication to the production to the logistics. I mean, you do every job of the world on the same day.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Elodie,
thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Now I propose that we move on. So next on the list will be Javier.
Yes. Javier, can you turn on your...
Javier, can you turn on your microphone?
Can you see me? Okay.
So good afternoon, Javier, again. So the floor is over to you for the next 10 minutes.
Okay. Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, that's coming.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. We want to give thanks to the organizers of the conference, giving us the opportunity to present our company and our product. Our company is called Food Design. This is a spin-off from UPV. UPV is Universidad Politécnica de Valencia. And we are going to present a product very similar to the LOD product. We call this product Convoy. And for us, it's also a different snack. I want to introduce our team. We are most of us. We are food technologists. I'm Javier Martinez. I'm PhD in food technology. My colleague Puri Garcia, she is also food technologist, PhD. Another colleague is Jorge Breton. Jorge Breton is a civil engineer and also is chef. Now he is working in the Basque Culinary Center. It's a faculty of gastronomy in the Basque country. And another colleague is Ampay Andres, also PhD in food technology. As a spin-off, the university is a partner. And also we have a CEO that is called Enrique Clavijo, and another person that is working with us that is Marta Igual, also PhD in food technology. At the beginning of our company, Food Design, was created in 2013 because we was working a long time with several companies, food companies, and we develop specialists in the field of research and development, and we thought that would be a good opportunity to create our company to develop products. Then we believe in creativity and innovation, and we believe that we can work with food companies to develop new products. Our working method, as you can see, we use design thinking to develop new products. In the screen, you can see the different steps that we use to develop our products or to develop the products of our clients, the companies that we work. We have first a concept lab is to develop the ideas. We using the design thinking technology, we obtain quickly a prototype to test. Another part is to test this prototype, and finally we can go to this product to the market. This is the final part. We use this scheme to work with our clients or to develop our own products. Basically, we use the outsourcing of R&D to obtain cash. Before, Elodie commented that the financial for develop their business is by family, friends, but we use the outsourcing of R&D to obtain cash. During the 3 first years of our company, we work an 80% in outsourcing and at 20% developing our products. Now, this year, we changed the goal of our company. We use only the 20% of our time to outsourcing, and we begin to develop our products. We changed the strategy of the company because we think that is the best for to grow. Because working with companies, our products don't go out to the market. Then I want to present this product. Convoy is a snack. It's a snack by a traditional product here in our community that is called chufa. Chufa is tiger nut. As you can see in the screen, the tiger nut is in Latin is Piperus pulentus. It's called in Spanish chufa. I don't know if this product is well known in French or in Germany or whatever. In French is noisette or chouchette. In Germany is tiger nose or Erdmandeln. I don't know if people know enough this product. But as you can see, it's a small plant that it's a tuber. This is a small tuber around 1 centimeter, more or less. This is a product that is cultivated here around Valencia. It's a typical product of near the university. I can see this kind of fields by my window. And the most common use of this product is to develop a drink. I don't know if you know this drink. It's called horchata. Is mashed tiger nuts with sugar and water, and to obtain this drink. The problem that is a drink very seasonal. Is good because it's for veggie people, and also is very refreshing. But here in Spain, we only take this product in summer. The tiger nut is also used to extract oil and to do some flour or something similar. But as raw product is not it, because it's very hard. Normally people that takes this product raw, it needs a process of refrigeration, and after we can take it. But also now tiger nut is considered as a superfood because it's their high content in fiber, and also it's a source of magnesium, potassium, vegetable protein, and the lipid profile is also good. Then, for example, in Japan, this product is well known and is demanded for their characteristics. Then our product has a special characteristic. As food technologies, we develop a process of softening. This process was patented, and then we achieve a product with the characteristics of flavor of the natural tiger nut with a different texture. It's more soft that you can eat easily and without this feel of fiber. Then we are working with this product to obtain several kinds of consumption. For example, we develop in this case a kind of snack, a kind of pickle with the tiger nut. In the picture, we can see the fields around Valencia. This is the kind of field that people use to grow this crop. And another thing is that we want with this product to talk about the share. No? The idea of convoy is a Catalan name that means to share. In Catalan, to convoyar, the verb convoyar is to do something with a lot of people. For example, this is the concept of convoy. As you can see in the picture, is the moment to eat a paella. We at home on Sunday we eat paella, but this is the natural form to eat paella. All together, from the this we don't use dishes, we don't use separate plates. We use the paella to eat, is to share. This is the concept, and we think that with this product is a moment to share with friends, with family, whatever. Convoy is also related with Mediterranean style. Is a moment to take a beer, to take a wine, to be relaxed, and this is the idea to obtain this product. We developed several varieties of the product, and now we are working with two. Mediterranean and Oriental. Mediterranean is with Provençal herbs, and Oriental is with soya and orange. We developed two products at the moment. We have also on mind different flavors, citrus or vinaigrette, but at the moment we are working with the Oriental and herbs. As mentioned before, Elodie, for us was very important to choose adequate partners to develop all the project. For example, as food design, we can develop the process, we can design the composition of the product, we can test the product, but we need some makers. This is a a difficult process to find the adequate maker to obtain your product, because we are we are talking about small productions. We are talking a specific product. Then not all companies are able to adapt their production system to our necessities. In this case, we find a little company near Valencia. It's called El Tramuset, that is producing now our product. And also we subcontract another company, is Joan Rohensky, to obtain the naming, labeling, brand identity, because we are food designers, but we are not can designers or product designers. Then El Tramuset y Joan Rohensky, we subcontract both companies. We pay for the services, and also we need to find another strategic partner. In this case, for distribution and commercialization of the product. In this case, we work with two companies. One is Tiger Nuts. Tiger Nuts is a company that works with tiger nuts here in Valencia. And this company is specialized in international commerce. With Tiger Nuts, we are putting our product in Japan, in Italy, and other countries around the world. And for internal market, we have as partner another company. It's called Mercader. Mercader produces horchata, but this company is in contact with the retailers, the best, the major retailers here in Spain, as Mercadona, Consum, Carrefour, and we think that this is good to combine internal and external retailers. Then at the moment we are in a previous step to the launch of the product. Last week we was producing the first series of product, and now we are waiting for the results of the microbiological analysis to obtain the okay to the product, and we are going to begin with the high production next month. We send samples to different markets with good acceptation. Then the product is good, and we expect to obtain good results in next future. This is now the situation. Then that's all for my. If you have some questions, some aspect that we can comment, as you want.
Okay, thank you, Javier. Any possible question from anyone? I can't see any at the moment. Any question from the panelists? So Javier, you must have been very, very clear.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a similar case of Elodie, and I have a question for Elodie. I don't know if Elodie is here or not.
Yes.
Elodie, can you hear me?
She is still here, but
maybe not online.
Yeah.
Or maybe we are worried because we don't know how to if we begin to produce the product, we need money to increase our production, and it's a bit difficult for us to find money to produce this quantity of our product, because you need to produce to sell the product, and maybe we are going to have some problems about cash flow. No? If we have enough money to sustain our production until we receive the return of the salt.
Yeah. So the issue you raised here, Javier, is the kind of financial planning. So how to have the money upfront to allow starting getting
Yes.
into business, and before you get their, let's say, their the return actually
Yes.
on the, say, investment.
Because
So
at the moment we don't know we are using the money that we save with our activity with other companies, but this is a limited money, and possibly if, in 3-4 months we are going to need more money.
yeah, so you need to leverage some funds so that they actually you collect the necessary money in order to start A, production, B, the sales, and of course start the business altogether. Yeah,
Yes.
this is for entrepreneurship, of course, one of the major issue, obviously, which is goes much beyond the idea or the actual conception. Yeah. How do you reckon the patenting opportunity has been or is important in your development? Because it will give you at the end some, say, security, although it doesn't bring money that you need. But
normally I think that in the field of food it's very difficult to patent something, because if you patent you are showing what are you doing, because a patent is a public document. But by the other hand, if you are going to find some partners, they want that you have something protected, something that you can transfer, or you can use to give value to your product.
okay, so adding value to your proposition, that's what it does. Yeah.
Yes.
Doesn't bring the money, but actually brings the confidence that you can secure there. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. In this case, we work with external makers, with external producers. Then it's a force to ensure us that our product is protected, and we can work with this kind of makers.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Maybe very last question as far as I'm concerned, which is similar to the one I asked Elodie. What have you found the most difficult so far?
In our case, it was to find the maker of the product, because it's a small production at the moment, and we need a specific system to produce this or to obtain this softening of the tiger nut. Then we began to work with a first producer, but after 3 months we don't obtain good results, and we need to change to another producer. And for us it was a big problem, because we spent a lot of time with the first producer. This for us it was the main difficulty, to find the good partners.
And what about the tiger nuts themselves as a raw material? Because I'm not familiar with the tiger nuts per se, but how difficult that is, or is it just not a problem?
No, it's not problem, because
it's
a product, it's a local product, and one of the companies, Tiger Nuts, is producer of tiger nuts. Then the raw material is, we obtain easily raw material with a good price. For us, it's not a problem.
Okay. So unless there are any other burning questions, I think thank you, Javier, for your contribution, and I suggest that we move on. Not without checking whether Benoit Plisson has come. Has he joined, or not yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. So I propose now we move to Cayetano.
Yes, I'm here.
Good.
Can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay.
So Cayetano, you're gonna bring us in the world of flavor egg.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. First of all.
So over to you for the next 10 minutes, which means until 20 past.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I want to thank you to the organization for the opportunity to be here to explain my project. First of all, I want to present myself. I'm Cayetano Belso, I'm 24 years old, and last year I finished my degree in Valencia, and I studied business administration, and then my goal was to turn my final degree project in a real startup. Okay, like you said before, Gourmet is the first flavor egg company, and what we do is that we take the fresh regular eggs and do a special process that when you break these eggs to get an omelette or to get wherever you do in a simple egg, this egg or this recipe tastes different. I divided the talk in 4 parts: the idea, the evolution, some learnings that I have learned, and where are going. Okay, how it rises. It was very incredible because the idea come up to me one day that I tasted at home delicious truffle eggs that my mom prepared. And then I say, oh, that's incredible, that's so tasty, but okay, how could we do it? Because I didn't see it before. This is a very simple process that when you put the eggs in a jar or in hermetic container that you close, and with the pulse of the egg from the shell absorb the taste of the flavor of the truffle. So when then you do something with these eggs taste different. Okay, so our goal was to go to Sarrión, that it's a city from Spain, and is very focused in truffle. And what we do was that we take the knowledge of the people to know how to do it. And then there we saw like the truffle have some problems because the good truffle of the Melanosporum that is very seasonally and it's only from November until February, something like that. The conservation of the product is very bad because you must to have the perfect humidity and all that, and also the cost is very expensive of the truffles. So our main goal was to create a different machinery that permit us to take the same product with a less cost and without the seasonality, right? So we industrialize the process and we create a machine that we are looking for the best way to patent that permit us to do flavor eggs. I mean, to give to these fresh eggs a lot of different tastes, like could be truffle, Spanish ham, bacon, or whatever, with a very, very reduction of the cost to produce it. So our main goal is like, do you know Danone? Danone was the first ones that turned natural yogurts into flavored yogurts, and well, we want to do the same with eggs, because from our point of view, the eggs in all the supermarkets have been a category that didn't experiment a good, important innovation from the years, from the past years. Okay, nowadays, our evolution, we set up the company in April, and one of the biggest difficulty that we had was to have the sanitary license, because it was very difficult for the sanitary government staff to understand how we do it, and also that permit us to sell these fresh eggs with this particular characteristic, okay? Because they told us that that's not a fresh egg, and that's not a derivative or a egg product. I mean, they don't know where to locate this sanitary license, okay? So then, with a lot of effort and a lot of talk with them, they give us the sanitary license in June, and we start to distribute the product just in Spain, but just for restaurants, because we thought that it was the best way to test the product with the market and to know if it's a good opportunity to sell it, okay? So we have been selling a lot this product, because in August we achieved the goal to have 6 distributors from in the south of Spain. I mean, and also some in the north, like Barcelona, Alicante, Valencia, Murcia, and all that. And this give us the opportunity to sell 48,000 eggs in 10 months with a sales of 25,000 euros with a margin of 66%. Like, it's very important for us because it gives us the opportunity to be sustainable and afford our expenses. But now we are thinking which is the best way to grow. And we have been learning a lot selling our product to restaurants, because we sell the product to distributors that they sell to restaurants, but we take like 10 restaurants that we were testing with them in order to be close to our client and to learn a lot of it. So there we learn a lot about different, about the product, and we realized that this is a very different product that the people is willing to, that want to taste it because it's so different. And also we realize that the flavor is powered in simple recipes like fried egg, an omelette, or something simple. So we could see that all the restaurants have a lot of different spices to give different taste to their recipes. And this is something that in the supermarkets will be very successful, like Ricard Camarena or Martin Berasategui told us, because it's something that when you are going to enjoy it, it's in simple recipes. For something fast, to do for dinner, for example. I mean, this is a possibility to give to the consumers a tasty and simple and fast cooked product. So also we have the opportunity to adapt the product to different cultures. That's something very important for us, because we could do a wasabi egg, for example, for Japanese people or whatever. So it brings us the opportunity to adapt very well to the taste of each market and try to be better in all of them. Nowadays, we have been thinking about our future, because we don't know which is the best way for us to grow. Because we have like 2 opportunities to continue building our restaurant channel with more different products related to the truffle, because in the way we have been learning a lot from truffle and a lot of this kind of products, and we realized that it's a different, an opportunity there to export from Spain. But our main goal is we are looking for an industrial partner that complements us to be more competitive and industrialize the process in order to be solid and to go and be prepared to go to the market, because we have been talking with a lot of retailers that are very interested in the product, but we want to be patient and to enter into the market when the time, when we're the time. Okay, so that's all for me, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Cayetano. That's a very innovative idea, starting from a simple idea, but it's come up to a good thing. No questions still from the webinar? No, there isn't. I definitely have a question myself. You talk about the patenting opportunity. Did I hear there was something you patented or
No.
not?
We are looking for the best way to patent, because we cannot patent the product, so we must patent the process. So
yes,
we are looking for the best way to do it.
Mm. Yeah, definitely, because most times in the food area, you often can patent process elements, and more rarely or generally not the product recipes anyway. That's clear. Other question, you of course you talk about truffle. Are you considering at some stage to develop like a range, because you mentioned earlier ham and other potential flavors?
But
so are you thinking about
could be like garlic, could be a lot of different tastes, because we do it with a concentrate of the product and all natural.
Okay, so and is that for your next steps already, or that will come a little later?
No, nowadays we are talking with a lot of investors that are so interested to enter in the capital of the company, because we are in a business accelerator in Valencia from 1 year ago. And nowadays we are preparing the best way to have a potential, the best investor for us, because we are not just looking for money. We are looking for smart money, like everyone prefers, because it's people that could bring us some experience and a lot of knowledge that we already don't have. Because we are starting.
Okay, and you said you have now signed up with 6 or 8 distributors.
Excuse me, sorry.
You said you had signed up so far some cooperation with 6 or 8 distributors.
Yeah, exactly. We have been selling our product with 6 distributors around Spain. And we are focused in gourmet distributors, because we don't want distributors like could sell all food products. We want that they were like gourmet distributors that want to have in their catalog the best quality of the products.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and the reason why I suppose you can, because you mentioned you could generate 60%, 66% margin at the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is only possible, I guess, with those gourmet distributors and not with the others.
No, it's the same, but I mean the margin is because we industrialize so much the process, and that permit us to be more efficient and to have the truffle more times.
Mm-hmm. Okay, right. And you mentioned the manufacturing as one of the major difficulty you encountered.
Exactly. That was because the process was very simple to do, in small quantities, but for big quantities you must create something different, because like we could see in the people who do it a lot of years ago. They do it like introducing the eggs with truffle into a jar, and that's simple. And with these two things together, 7 days, the eggs by the pores of the shell take the flavor, and then you cook it. So, but for a company, it's not good to have this. We can't take this time, because the egg is losing the fresh of the egg, and then the restaurants and the chefs don't want this egg because it's not so fresh. So for that reason, we create a different method to do it in just 1 day.
Yeah, okay. And another question from my side. With already some experience, what would be your best advice to give to any young entrepreneur who are listening to you right now? What would be your best piece of advice?
I don't know, but because I learning by doing, I think that that's the best advice that I could say, because I mean, for me, it was more than a master or whatever, because I'm learning a lot about finance, about producing, about commercialize the product. I mean, you have all the company in your head, and your vision makes so big.
So a little bit like Elodie said earlier, then the greatest difficulty is to do 1,000 different jobs in 1 day.
Exactly.
Okay.
Completely agree.
Yeah, so you have that in common. Okay. I think it's all right. It's the 26 past. I think the time is over, unless there is a question from someone else. No, there isn't. If I'm correct, Lynn.
No.
No, fine.
No questions.
No question. Still waiting for Benoit, who hasn't joined.
Yes.
And since he hasn't, I propose that we move on to a company called Vertu. Arthur Morel. Arthur, you're around?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can see you then.
You can see me too? All right.
I know, suppose you are next door, kind of.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure about this.
I'm pretty sure on this, yeah. Anyway, Arthur, over to you for the next 10 minutes or so. It's 27 past, so let's say 37-ish.
Okay. So first of all, I thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to talk to you all today. So I'm the founder of Vertu. Vertu, it's like fresher, more than nature. So I founded this company 2 years ago with my associate and partner, Adrian. He's not here today, but I'm sure he will listen to it later. So the main observation based on this company is like fruit and vegetables represent the best solution to be healthy, but it requires time to prepare them. All right. So because it's always time consuming to prepare fruit and vegetable, you have to cut them, you have to clean them, you have to cook them. So it takes too long. Based on this observation, we decided to launch our company. I did my study in finance and management, and I did all my internship in the retail sector. So it's like a hobby. I know it's a little bit strange to say that, but retail is my hobby. So I study a lot Sushi Corner. I don't know if you have ever seen Sushi Corner in commercial center, but you have a lot of people who prepare sushi in front of the customer. And I told myself, all right, I love fruit and vegetables. I love to eat them, but already processed. So I mixed the sushi corner and the processing of fruit and vegetables in one concept. So Vertu was born. So our mission is to select the best fruits and vegetables and process them within the supermarket in front of the customer and giving them all the benefits of fruit and vegetable without making any work. So we opened our first corner 6 months ago. So you can see on the picture how our corner. So we have people in a preparation area. They prepare every day in front of the customer the fruit and vegetables, and then they put it in the fridge, and the customer can pick them directly. So this is a real picture of our first corner. We open it in the area of Lyon because I'm from Lyon, so it was easier for me. So our strategy was to open one first corner. It's like a test. We made a deal with a large retailer in France. I will tell you after who is it. And after 6 months, the first corner is profitable. So now we know that the concept is profitable. So we want to develop it as much as we can. And at the end of 2018, we want to open at least 15 corners in the whole France. Okay, so just to make sure you really understand what we do, I would like to show you our product line. So we make juices, we make fruit salads, as you can see. So this is a product directly in our corner, and we have also some shooting of our product. We have basics like just fruits, fresh cut fruits. We also have fruit salads, as I said before. We have also a large range of vegetables already processed. So at the bottom left-hand corner, you can see different salads and snacking solutions. You also have vegetable mixed that you just have to cook them and to eat them. So people just gain such an amount of time. You have also on the right hand corner, some top right hand corner, some snacking solution, also aperitif solutions. All right, and then I will tell you. So we deal with a large retailer in France, the group Casino. Just to give you some number, the sales income of Casino is like 60 billion euros last year. They have 300,000 employees all over the world and about 15 business units. So it's a very large company, and we are just a small startup, just starting its activity. So it's not the same proportion. We try to work with 3 business units of Casino. Casino Supermarché, it's supermarket. You have Géant Casino, it's hypermarket, and Monoprix, another business unit of supermarket. So we decided to develop our concept in those 3 business units. Sorry. So the main difficulties we have to face with, first of all, why large companies deals with young startup? Because you can say, okay, I'm a big company, I can do everything I want. But it's not true, because when you're a big company, you are focused on 1 or 2 main missions. And we offer a new way to figure out the business. So that's why they want to trust us, to work with them, and so that we can offer innovation in their business. So one of the main difficulties is the relationship with a large retailer. It's 2 opposite way of operating. I'd like to use the metaphor of the big ship and the speedboat. A large company is a big ship. I mean, when they take a decision, it takes a long time to implement it, compared with a startup who, when we face a problem, we can directly and rapidly turn and take the profitable change for establish a new opportunity of business. So, for example, when we first launched our company, we tested our product line, and when a product was not interesting for the customer, we retire it from the sales, and we can find a new one, make some research to find new product, and implement it directly after 1 or 2 days of reflection. So for us it's very easy, but when you have to present it to the big company, they have to reference the product in their database, and for them it's very complicated. It takes a long time because you have different level of management to ask. So it takes a long time. We are very quick and they are very slow, so it's very difficult to deal with this. And for example, today we are working on the development of our company, and the group Casino is facing a corporate restructuring. So at the very beginning we have some interlocutors, and nowadays we have new interlocutors that doesn't know our concept, so we have to explain it again, and it's very complicated because we start to be late. We have a bank loan, but we don't have our new corner, so it's very complicated to face those problems. And sometimes, and no, always, large company doesn't understand the problem of small companies, of cash problem, human resources problem. So it's kind of difficult to deal with. But even if it's difficult, despite the fact that it's sometimes complicated to work with huge company, there is no big deal because they offer us the possibility to create a large network of stores and the ability to get easily new customers. And I will tell you our second big problem, second big difficulties. It's like human resources difficulties, because when we open a corner, we have to hire three employees, and it's low qualified profile, so you always have a high turnover rate. You change every 6 months. One employee is leaving the company, so you have to fidelize them, but it's difficult because you don't pay them a lot. So you have to find some strategy to retain them in the company. And another problem with human resources, it's related to the rapid expansion, because today we have one corner with 3 employees, but within 6 months we will have 15 corner, and 15 corner multiplied by 3 collaborators, we will have about 15 collaborators in the company within 6 months. So it's a very rapid expansion, and it's, for young entrepreneur like me, it's difficult to face. But I prefer to get those problems than problem of profitability or something like this. Okay, I thank you so much for listening to me. If you have any question, do not hesitate.
Thank you very much. Let me look into question. Do you see any, Lynn?
Yes, we have some in the chat box. It's from Javier.
Oh yeah, Javier.
Javier, you can also turn on your microphone and ask them directly if you like.
Okay, is a retailer the supplier of fruits? Thank you, Javier, for your question. No, we decided to separate the logistic because we want to master our supply. So we want only quality fruit and vegetable. I don't say that the retailer propose bad quality fruit and vegetables, but we prefer to master the supply. We draw up detailed specification to ensure the quality, so that we can master 100% our supply. There is another question. How many people do you need by corner? So we need at least three people for a supermarket. We open in December a corner in an hypermarket, So we based our business plan on the same model as a supermarket. So we will hire 3 people, but maybe we will need 5 or 6, I don't know. But we start at 3 people. Basically, it's 3 people by corner.
And another question, please. And about the logistic to supply the fresh product, how do it? Because you need you have a central to buy the product, or how are you going to organize if, for example,
I can hear you very well. I'm sorry.
Okay. The idea is if you are going to expand your corner around France, for example, do you need different place to put the fruits in this
to supply different place to supply? Yeah, of course. So in France you have different place to supply. In Paris you have Rungis. In Lyon you have Corba. It's a big market, and you have like 6 or 7 big markets like this all over France, and they are able to deliver product in their area. So we will always work with this big market and supply our product directly in them.
Okay.
There is also a question from Sylvia. How long did it take for you to enter the retail?
Okay, so at first sight it could be a big difficulty, but as I said at the beginning of the conversation, I did all my internship in the retail sector, and in particular in the group Casino. So I have some key collaborators that I could tell, I could present my project. So I present them my project. They were seduced, and so they tell me, okay, if you want to test it in one of our supermarkets, do not hesitate. We will offer you this space. So
okay.
So it took at least 2 months to convince them, and then 4 months to open it.
Is there also from their side the recognition that, of course, you are complementary to what they do? As you said, I quite like the image of the big ship versus the speedboat. At the end of the day, I guess they have recognized that you could complement their offer on the marketplace. So in other words, do the job which they cannot do because they haven't the skill, they haven't got the resources, but you have.
Okay. So a retailer, they do logistic, they sell, but they don't cook, they don't create a range of products, and we have this ability that they don't have. They could have it, but it will take them so much money, so much years to implement them, and we are in a fast-growing market. The opportunity in France, it's now. It's not in 2 years. So they give the ability to manage those concepts to buy young startup like ours.
Yeah, so they recognize their the complement, that it was complementing their job. Yeah.
May I ask you another question? From the beginning of your idea until you went to retail, how long did it take for you?
Okay.
This was the question I meant, because we are already in retail, and I'm in the 4th year now. So we have IFS certified bio, and I just want to have an idea from your side. I know also retail very well because I worked there.
Okay, so you want to know from the idea to the first corner?
Exactly.
So it took me about 2 years. 2 years.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Between the idea, after I did my benchmark, my business plan, and after I start the negotiation with Casino Group. 1 year after, and the following year we opened the store. So 2 years.
Okay, and Arthur, just a last question: do you produce by yourself or not? Because I'm always in lack of time, so I couldn't follow the whole presentation. Do you produce by yourself? help or does the other one?
No. We produce everything. We supply the fruit and vegetables, and then we process them in store directly.
Okay.
Okay, I think the time is over, unless there is a burning question. And if there isn't, no, I don't see it at the moment.
Okay, so I thank you so much, and I'm sorry, but I will not be able to take part of the last conversation, discussion, because I have an appointment to sign a new openings. So
that's definitely more important.
Yeah, no, it's not more important. It's different. It's
it's essential, huh? You know, it's okay. Thanks, Arthur.
Thank you very much.
I propose right now we move on to Valentine.
Oh putain, j'en peux plus.
Yes.
Valentine.
Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
So I guess Lynn is managing to get there.
Yes, I made you presenter.
Yes. Hold on. I'm just.
So anyway, waiting for your presentation. So you are now moving to a complete different area.
Yes.
Which I will let Valentine to explain what that is.
Okay. First of all, I'm sorry I didn't took part of the other intervention pitches. So it might be different indeed. I just don't understand why I'm still the lean. Okay. Do you see my screen or?
Yes.
Cool.
We see everything. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So I'm here to introduce you the story of how Wuji & Co. start and what is it today. So first of all, in March 2016, Wuji & Co. was destined to be the future McDonald's vegan. Why I'm saying that? Because I was certain that in the next 3 years, I would have been rich and successful. And just to let you know that, in fact, the first thing to mention is to understand that when you start your own company, sorry, I'm not so much ready. When you start your own company, each entrepreneurial story begins with a belief, the strong belief, and continues with an idea. What does it mean? I just mean that a lot of people, maybe I thought that, and maybe you think that you need to have an idea to create a company. But above all, you need to be convinced that something you know, like a product or some services, could be done in a better way or differently. And also that you are the only person that you can change it. That's what happened for me. And in fact, deep conviction will become the value and the foundation of your company, and not values won't be your ID. What I mean is, the stronger the conviction are, the faster you are going to fail, and the faster your project will grow. That leads us to the point 2. Failure. In France, we don't have the culture of failure, and I think create a company is you have to have the culture of failure when you create your own company. Failure is like a research. Why I'm saying that? Because I think failure is not bad, and failure is not a waste of time nor money, and it. Thanks to that, it creates strengths, and it's the only way to success. The other positive things about failure is that you can choose the format. I mean, when I say that, is because you can fail daily in order to learn daily. You can, for example, fail in communication, fail in investment, or in choosing your partners. and you can fail as often as you want, and you can go, and thanks to that you can go faster. For example, I did fail every day for 2 years, and I will continue because failure doesn't hurt. It gives you a lot of energy. And one question is always that some people ask me is, what about money? Do we need to have money to succeed like an entrepreneur? And my point is, when you Hello?
Yes. We still can hear you.
Okay,
Go on.
sorry.
That's fine.
Sorry.
You can go on, yeah.
So yes. Well, what the point about the money is, you are lucky you don't have money, because if you are not, if you have money, you're gonna lose it quickly. It's kind of a joke, but just to say that don't look after money, look after how your convention can be realized. Just action, and no one's need money to act and for that. And I think that once you achieved your highest conviction, you will learn. You will earn money, not before. The second thing, it's about team. Team is like in a real life. Surround yourself with people with whom you feel good and you will learn from. Basically, it's just people who shared your values and have the competence that you don't have. And the last thing, it's about time. I just picked the sentence and the title of a book that I like, The Power of Now. So we always see entrepreneurs running after time. It's funny because I think that we'll never catch it. Why? Because time is now, and I think the power, in fact, indeed, the power of now is the key. Take your time to listen, to learn, and to share every day. So to conclude, you might have a stronger conviction than a good dose of failure. And what I call the ATT, it's action, team, and time. It's a mix of that three things that will lead you, to what we call the good idea. That's it.
Okay. Thank you very much, Valentine.
I'm sorry, I don't know if what was you expected or not, because...
Don't worry, there will be questions.
Okay.
I suppose, yeah. And by the way, any question, Lina? Let me check. No question. Either in the chat or.
No.
Okay, Valentine. So I understand well. What's your product offer at the moment?
Okay, it's health food. It's personalized nutrition food.
Okay, and so that comes through what? Different ranges of products? How does it look like?
It's dehydrated food. I'm working with a laboratory making dehydrated food to help people to keep nutrients and help people to prevent from what we call a chronic disease.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then you have is that a category? What's the target? I mean, is that targeting the main course, the main meal, or is that about starters? About their are they salted recipes and sweet recipes?
Yes, we use, in fact, it's a machine software that we use for algorithm to create what we call theoric formulation. So it's formulas, it's food formulas, but in theory, because in practice, when you had just an ingredient with another one, it doesn't make you a good and a good taste of the products. So what we do is we test the formula with the laboratoire, and then we have a lot of consumer that had what we call score in that, and we add it to the software to use it like modelization. I don't know if I'm clear. In fact, it's helping the software to understand what is a good taste.
Mm-hmm. But once you've sort of established those recipes, I guess these recipes are handed over to someone who will be producing the products?
Yes. No, I'm not producing the products. I'm producing
not you, but then you're handing over your recipes, your creation to someone else who will do it.
Yes, what we call the industrials, or for health food, or for yeah, it's pharmaceutical industries or food industries.
Oh yeah, it could be. So you have all kinds of partners around, I suppose, depending on what you want to make.
Yes, I have a lot of partners. Like, I mean, when you said partners, you are talking about the person who work with me to do that, or?
No, I'm talking about external manufacturers who will be actually making the end product.
Yes, indeed. We are working with the laboratory with the prototype, and then we are looking for manufacturers to develop and to sell the product. The product, yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And one question.
Yeah.
From Javier. Is the software including flavor aspects?
Yes, that's why I was trying to explain at the beginning. In fact, the flower aspect, it's only we include this aspect at with the how do you say that? With the test. I mean, the algorithm is taking out some formulas, and these formulas is tested by a laboratory, and then the product is tested by consumers. And that score, we integrated the score in the algorithm, and then thanks to that score and a lot. We need to do a lot of tests to include the flower into the algorithm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what is the perspective for the future? Because you have that software, you are developing or conceiving some recipes. How do you see their future developments? What's the aim?
For now, we indeed developed the algorithm with a researcher and scientist, and we are now developing the first prototype of the recipes, as you said, and we are going to test them. So we're just do the proof of concept to look for after partners. A partner.
Okay.
So we are looking for a partner, and then thanks to that proof of concept, we're hoping to develop more and more recipes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so you have got obviously connections with industrial partners, but where have you got a connection with the consumers themselves at the end, the end users?
Not directly, but we are working with a panel of consumers. So yes, indeed we are
through panel of consumers. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, right. So what have you find the most difficult so far in setting up that business?
It's what I no. It's
a killing question. I know it's.
No, it's not. It's not a killing question. It's basically what I just said in the first in this different slide. I think it's just to learn how to take time and also to find a good person to do that.
Yeah. So time and skills and resources. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Any more question, Lina?
No. That's all. I don't see any.
So if anyone has any more questions, so I think thank you very much, Valentine.
Thank you very much.
That's great. And then I propose we move on. Still no news from Benoît Plisson?
No, unfortunately.
Okay. I know that Benoît, are you around? Benoît Cuillère. He's not listening, because I know Benoît was going to get in touch with him to find out what's happening. Anyway, in the meanwhile, in the meantime, I propose that we move on. Benoît, yes. Oui?
I'm trying to reach Benoît, but I cannot actually. I'm really trying. That's why I cannot answer.
Okay, right.
5 minutes.
Keep trying. Okay, let's move on to Renner at the moment, and that is about Food Integrity Studio in Vienna. Rainer?
Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, yes, that's fine.
1 second, let me switch on my camera. You can see me now as well? Wonderful.
Yeah, we see you there. Great.
Let me share my screen with you. Wonderful.
So we have your presentation. We can see you. That's all fine.
Let's go.
Over to you for the next 10 minutes.
Wonderful. So hello everybody. Hello from Vienna. My name is Rainer, and my startup is called Food Integrity Studio. And here you can see my team. So my team is basically me. I'm the project manager and the managing partner of the team. I have Jochen with me. He's our data scientist and food expert. And we have Wolfgang, who is our IT guy. So he's basically the guy who makes our ideas become reality. So that's my team. That's the core team. We are an SME. We have also, in addition to those 3 people you saw there, we have a lady who is doing our graphics. And we very often have interns. So that's why you see 4 to 8 people, because we usually have interns as well. So we do not have any further employees. We do have interns who change from time to time, who are usually in the area of data science. We are based in Vienna, and what we like to do, or what we're working on, is basically connecting the food sector with high-tech IT. And that might sound a bit strange, because like food is something physical and IT is something virtual. But that's what we're working on, and we're working on individual solutions, project-based, and usually on a B2B level. What we actually do is we take digital solutions that are already available on the market, plus we design our own digital solutions and try to adapt it to the demand of our clients, which basically usually means like we develop tools that help them to comply with regulations. And you all know that in the food sector we have quite a lot of regulations. We help them to do smart documentation. That means in the food sector, especially when you have to comply with requirements, you have to do a lot of documentation. That what you can nowadays do with smart documentation in a far easier way than it used to be. We do big data analysis. We have cloud and mobile solutions, and we also participate a lot in research projects. Now at the moment in a quite big one in Horizon 2020 together with China, where we actually work on food fraud and basically the detection of food fraud using our digital tools. These are two of our solutions which we have. We called our solutions sumo because they have to be quite strong, like a sumo fighter. We have one which is really applications, and one is it's a platform in the background which does most of the calculations. As you can imagine, for big data analysis, you need a quite strong platform in the background, and that is the Sumo platform, which helps us with all our tools. And the tools to go, Sumo tools, those are simply our applications, which are customized to the demand of our clients. Whom are we targeting? We are basically working with primary food producers, with food processors, but a lot also with the representative groups and all sorts of other players along the food supply chain, where we basically customize our tools accordingly. What I would like to share with you is basically now our experience when it comes to financing, because I think, and I guess a lot of startups would agree with me, getting the initial funding to basically start your company and to fund the initial steps of your company, that is one of the greatest challenges you can have. And especially when you want to avoid investors at a too early stage. And that's what you try to avoid at the very beginning of the project, because that at the beginning of your company, because that would be basically selling out your company at a very cheap price to an investor. So we also try to avoid this, and then what you have basically left would then be to go for public funding. Oopsie, and there goes my presentation.
All right.
1 second, I'm restarting my presentation. Can you see it again?
That's back, yeah.
Wonderful, good. So the only solution that you have then before you go for a bank loan would be national or international funding programs. Now the challenge with those programs is simply when you apply for it, they are very individual. They have a very specific focus. Some of those focus on research, others focus on innovation, some are seed financing, some are pre-seed financing, some are incubator programs, some just fund a feasibility study, and in addition, all of those cover very different costs. Some do cover your internal personal costs, some actually just give you money to cover for external costs, such as support for external programmers, such as external support for marketing, or for lawyers, or for tech support. Some basically give you money to equip your company with machinery, others give it for IPR support, some that do not even give you any money, they actually just help you with networking. And that can be quite challenging actually, because when you look at what you have your product or your product idea, you have your service and your service idea, and then you have to somehow fit that into this funding puzzle thing. And as you can see, this simply does not fit. So just taking your product idea or your product, your service or service idea, and basically trying to fit that in there, it will not work at the beginning, not without adapting your idea. And that's basically when you have to start bending your idea to adapt it to a certain scheme. And a very, very challenging thing now is that you have to adapt in a way that it still works for your own goals. You have to bend it without breaking it. And that is really, really tricky, because a lot of those funding schemes, very often, they fund something where you only need parts of it. So it means that actually by implementing those projects, you get parts of it funded, what you would like to do, but there is a lot of additional things which is asked simply by the funding scheme, and you're just doing it for the funding scheme, and you don't really need it for your company. So I always advise, like, do not just do the funding, or do not apply just for funding just because there is funding there, but make really sure that it applies to your work, that actually that the thing you're doing, the project you're implementing, then has to actually fulfill your strategy, because otherwise you're doing this just for the sake of the funding itself. And you always have to be aware that applying for funding and also implementing the project, then that means additional work you would not have when you're not applying for this funding. That's really a thing that you, especially as a startup, have to keep in mind. A thing that we saw, and that was really interesting, is the so-called sexy factor. When you look at our products, for example, we have digital tools which are basically B2B. So it's really tricky to communicate what we are really doing to a funding body. If you're producing an energy drink, or if you're producing some sort of application which is really easy to understand, then this is really also easy to understand for an evaluator, and then also very easy to sell for such a funding scheme. And for us, this was always a big challenge to really tell what we're actually doing, that this is really important, that there's a market for it, and that also B2B is a very important scheme. Because so far what we saw is that for most funding schemes, they do like B2C because it's easier to picture, and it's simply easier to understand. And when it comes to B2B, then it's quite tricky to understand, because first you have to understand our business scheme, but you also have to understand the business scheme of the companies you're actually preparing or providing these services or products for. A very important thing is also, and a very challenging thing is during the implementation. That's the time to project or the time to cash. When you look at funding schemes, and I can now tell you directly for the Horizon 2020 project we applied, between the first idea of the project and the moment the project started, it took us 2 years. And when you think of a small company, a startup that is developing fast and is actually in demand of money, when there is a time like of 2 years, that's quite a long time. And in addition, is now the project has started, we still don't have the money. So that means this time is still going on, project has started, but we still have to survive on our own money because the Commission hasn't transferred any cash to us so far. So having done the cash flow issue with those projects, with those publicly funded projects, that's also something you have to clearly consider. So my advice is, we still do apply for public funding. It's good money, yeah. Let's admit it, yeah. It's good money, but in addition to that, is we focus on bootstrapping, which means like we try to do a lot of things on our own. We try to not outsource things. So it's me and my 2 colleagues basically doing most of the work, plus the marketing as well. And we try to keep it to ourselves, and only those things like, for example, legal support or IPR support, which clearly has to come from an external expert, is outsourced. For the rest, we do everything internal. We rely on private resources, so we've invested a lot of our own money, including money of our families and our friends. And in the end, we didn't want to do that, but we did it. We applied for bank loans for one simple thing. Bank loans, to get a bank loan, it's so much easier and so much faster, because usually you just need a business plan, and then you can apply for it. I know that there are downsides of bank loans, but when you need quick money, then usually bank loans are still a way to go. So I would like to wish all the other startups good luck with applying for money. This is my story, and I hope it helps some people. If you have any questions, just feel free to ask me. Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Christian, you have to put on your microphone.
Wait, I'm back again.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, you couldn't hear me. Yeah, no question from anyone?
No. No.
I found interesting, Rainer, this element of, you know, the time and effort that's required on actually where you would be spending best this limited time you have anyway, because you are an entrepreneur, you have limited time available, and therefore even when it comes to finding the money, then you will make you cherry pick to where at the end of the day it will be helpful, and not for the sake of finding the money. I found it interesting.
We have one question, Rainer, from the attendees. How wide is your software applying? Only in Europe or also America?
It's basically a worldwide software. So a lot of it is programmed in English. So it's not only applying to Europe. We started in Austria simply because there we know the market, and that was the easiest. That's where we did our test runs. But as I mentioned, we have now a project running together with China. So we will the next market we are focusing on is China, simply because we got the opportunity there. But in the end, we would also like to roll out to whole Europe, and then if we find the clients, obviously worldwide.
What is your plan for the next years to come? If in a nutshell, not then.
Well, to obviously establish our product on the market, we would like to focus a lot now on the Asian region, because as I mentioned, we have got an opportunity there. And we are also exploring if, for example, emerging markets such as Laos are good markets. We will do a feasibility study on this one. Those are challenging markets, but there is actually no competition on the market there. So it means like you have to do far more groundwork. But if the groundwork is done, you do not have too much competition. In Europe, obviously, there are several tools on the market, and you have a lot of competition, and you have a lot to communicate the advantages that your specific tool brings.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I think, Lynn, there is no more question.
No.
I can see. So thank you, Rainer.
You're welcome.
Good luck for future.
Thank you.
And I suggest we move on now to Sylvia.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm very happy to stay with you. I feel sorry I have no presentation prepared as lack of time. We are now in the 4th year of my enterprise, and we now did the entrance in wholesale and retail at the same time. We are an IFS certified producer of fruit spreads and chutneys, and also organic superfood soups. Yes, I would suggest to all university students. I have some from Boku in my enterprise on the technology sector. It's very important to find the right. If you plan to go in retail, it is most important to find the right chain you can rely on, because it's very important as a young entrepreneur. You have to have a chain you can rely on. This is the most important, because as you know, business is can be good and can be bad, and there are tricks, and there is everything in this field. And this I would suggest to all entrepreneurs, to young starters, to be very confident, to have the right retail chain on your hands. As Arthur told, okay, this is an exception because he worked in retail and he knows the people of Casino. So yeah, more or less, it's not very difficult to get the test and to have anything. If you don't know anybody in retail, so you start from the beginning, it is really a hard and very, very risky thing. This I can really, this is really, how do you say, I will give an advice, really a good advice to all the people who are very enthusiastic, because you are enthusiastic at the beginning, but please be careful with the different retail chains. So I am very lucky because we have the biggest hotel chain in the world, Marriott, we can deliver. And it was really one of the best thing I have done, and what was the best success until now in my life. And now I have also really good retail partners and wholesale partners on my side. But the way until I reach this aim, I would say it was how do you say? It was between life and death. Yeah, it's the point. This is the point. And as you know, I saw all the people and the entrepreneurs. It's the only one who is in retail, and you make only the quantities in retail. Yeah, everything other you can forget. You can hardly live from this, but I'm sure it's no more. You have to entrance in retail, then you can earn money, and then you can have an enterprise, and then you can develop products, and then you can all do the investment you need to. But this is one. It is the only one. He's the only one, and only because he works in casino. So please be really very, very careful with retail chains. I know in Austria the market is very, it's very small, and we have some reliable partners, and we have partners who are not reliable. And you have to have the strength and the heart. You have to be hard like iron, really. And when you have this experience, then please say no, because you will get in big troubles if you follow partners that you can't rely on and that tell you stories and yes, and we do, and then they do nothing. And so this is really a big advice I can give to you all. Any more questions? Besides, my products are with 78% fruit content, my fruit spreads. I have a patented recipe. I developed all of my own, and I do all the whole product development I do on my own. We have chutneys, and now we have the next ones are the organic superfood soups, and we are preparing now for a fair in Austria, in Salzburg, and on Tuesday I go to Copenhagen, also to Malmö, also to an organic fair. And please excuse, I am really very all the time lack of time. So yeah. Any more questions? I'm at your disposal, and was very happy that you invited me, because Christine Grabler from LVR told me Silvia, take place on this good conference and prepare some abstract submission. I did this, and yeah. So, any more questions? I can help you. I can answer. I'm at your disposal.
Okay. I guess we will ask. No formal questions, Lynn, on the web.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Sylvia, you focused a lot about the relationship with the distribution, with the your customers, basically. Aside that, what are at least the main issues you've come through in your own projects, particularly?
Well, I wrote them in my submission. First of all, you have a product idea, but you don't have any marketing study, because you have not the money for doing a big study.
Yep.
Is this the right product? Is this a market? Does the market like your product? Do you have a market for the product? These are all questions you need to answer by yourself, and you need to judge also by yourself. Next thing is with production. Do you have, as someone told in the conference, that there is he has the same problems? First, I didn't think that I have to produce on my own once, because I also wanted to have a producer. But in Austria, this was it was an incredible story, because there are some producers which produce different brands. But if you're at the beginning, they laugh on you. So I had no chance to find a producer who is producing my product. This is the second thing, and yeah. And then, and the third thing is the financial risk, because at the beginning you don't know if the consumers like your product, if they want your product, and you have also in retail less influence on the price retail does on your products. Yeah. So at the beginning, maybe you give retail a correct price, but you don't know the price which retail does on your product, because you have no decision for this. And yeah, these are the main things you have to consider, and which judges about your life, if you live or if you die. It's very simple said. Yeah. Yeah, I went through all this. At least I am very happy, because my retail partners and my wholesale partners are perfect for me now, and we want to go to export to the Scandinavian countries and to some more countries, not some specific countries. And with Marriott, I will go to the countries where they want me. But this is wholesale, and wholesale is another story to retail. So retail is much more difficult and much more. I know retail because I worked in retail, you know. So I have got the experience and everything, and I know how retailers act, and this is not the question. But I will also advise people who don't have knowledge in retail, please talk to somebody or take someone into your company who has worked in retail, because this is an experience you absolutely need. Otherwise, it's too difficult you can't come in, because, you know, my product is a premium product, yeah, and I have a patented recipe, and many people know my product, so no problem. So I have, when you see it from this side, I've got a product which is really an example for, I don't know, for many new products. Yeah, it's on the highest level. It has a packaging, the best packaging, everything the best. And even so, if you have the best product and you have the variety of the assortment, which does not exist in whole Europe, it took me so much strength and so much, really strength to come into retail. Even if we are IFS certified with 97.61%, we have organic standards. Even if I am on the highest level of the whole retail, of the whole producer business, even and I have a new company. I built two companies. The second one was the new one, and even on this, everything perfect. In retail, you know, there is money from other companies you know, there are many different things which are not allowed, but they are. And this is one of the most difficult things that you have to face with, because as I thought, when I have this assortment, these products, this variety, this everything, every retailer must say, please, we give you a chance. It's really what you did is tremendous and everything. No, it was the opposite, and at last I knew why, because companies pay to buyers, pay to I don't know whom, to retailers, that different companies or new companies won't come in. So this is really open spoken, and these are facts, and all these things young startups and has to consider, really, because it's very dangerous. You invest money from parents, from grandmother, from everybody in the good thinking, but retail world is not good thinking. It's the other way around. So this is really the advice I give to everybody, and to consider and to think about it, and
Listening to you, Sylvia, there is something, you trigger some thoughts in my mind, and something you haven't mentioned is to be successful, you need the passion.
Yeah, you need the passion.
and I can hear that passion.
Yeah, this is, and you need the passion, and you need to have the will to work 24 hours, 7 days a week, really.
Yeah.
It won't run. It won't run. And now I have a good team. I'm in the 4th year now, but it took me 4 years to find really a reliable team. A really reliable team, yeah?
Yeah.
And I love them all, really, and they can have from me anything, and really. But you have also, as you know, you have very best students from Boku, from I have workers from Bila, and really they're really. But you have at last, as a CEO or as the entrepreneur, you have to have also to to have control about. You have to control also things. Yeah, you have to control. Not to control the employees, but to control their work. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You have to monitor the entire operation. You have to embrace all the issues, exactly. And I think it's back to what we have heard already a few times. That's many issues only in one single day.
Exactly. There are days, you know, I told you, Christian, there are days which I don't know which day is today, which I miss I miss really appointments, because I'm so in my work and I work so deeply with the items that I miss appointments. 1 hour, I know I have to be at this time in this town, and in the second, and then I make my work ready, and then oh my God, I miss this appointment. Sometimes it's like this, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is, because the issues are, and you have the responsibility, and you know, retail is like this. We are all people, and mistakes can happen everywhere, also with the best people in the world. But retail system is like this. You know, when you have, for example, a wrong product, you deliver a wrong product to one of the retailers, so they have the order to write it down and to give it to the buyers. And in the next price treatment, you have this on the table, you know, because when you're dealing with price, so you have to be prepared like a lion.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
they work like this, you know. It's like this. So
exactly.
Also one wrong delivery, and you want more price, so we will see. You know, now it's like this.
Okay, Celia, thank you so much.
You are very welcome, Christian, and Mrs. Lindner, danke schön.
Yeah, danke schön. Okay, I think we are still looking for Benoît Plisson. No show still. And Benoît Cuillère, you didn't manage anything?
No, nothing.
Nothing. Okay, so we unfortunately cannot take over on his behalf. Yeah, so we should take as Benoît will not show this afternoon. Unfortunately, he will have told us once more for some of the people attending, or for the first time for the others, about this nice history of ISEKI-Food, which has now become le boucher vert. But unfortunately, that's not going to be for now, unless he appears in the next 5-10 minutes. Okay, which I doubt. Yeah, so I think we've now gone around the different presentation. I'd love to open the floor maybe to some more exchange or general question. The one thing I would summarize though is and probably I think the last example from Sylvia, there was a great example which we could see actually in most of the other presentation, but I think that was really clear there, that in all ingredients that are required, that are needed actually to set up a new business, to be an entrepreneur, there are a number of ingredients, amongst which the passion and the strong belief that things can happen. Belief in your idea, belief in what you are doing, actually be prepared and to spend a lot of hours and effort in all kinds of direction. However, as we have seen in the previous presentation, is to say, okay, you have also to be critical in the option that you choose, and not actually to spread your effort in all in millions of directions, but actually make choices and know why you make those choices. And this is valid for from the start of which idea, which positioning, which marketing, as much as which technology and which what partner I'm going to work with, and so on and so on, and including the financing scheme or modes that you will be choosing. And I'm not even talking about retailers, which we clearly understood just a few minutes ago that how important it was to be critical in the choice you are making. And on top of all of that,
stay always correct, Christian, excuse me, and stay always correct, because at the end you stay at the longer arm, you know, and when something is not correct, how they treat you, I love my clients, I love retail, but I also wanted to show you the second side of the medal, but stay always correct, and at the end you will win, you will succeed, and you will win.
If all of these ingredients, all of these let's say behaviors, the tactical behaviors I should say, are put together, then you should win in one way or another. The only thing you don't know is how long it will take, how much effort that will cost you, but at the end of the day it should win. But the other elements which is very important is there is nothing you can do as an entrepreneur on your own. It's absolutely crucial that you find out to actually who together with you can actually make it. So it goes from your closest let's say partners, I mean those who are working with you, your team basically, up to actually any major partners around, would that be in technology, manufacturing, distributions, and so on and so on. So who are you partnering with? And what is the model you would be setting up with your partner? Because if the confidence is there, that's another positive ingredients, I should say, to make it successful. Confidence, loyalty, especially in the retail area, are particularly critical and important.
I fully agree. And I live these values really in my company and everywhere. Really, I fully agree.
And you see, the other spin-off I would tell on which is kind of own conclusion this time, is basically we hear a hell of a lot these days about sustainability in especially in the food industry area, but also in the industry in general. But sustainability is absolutely fully demonstrated here at the point of making a new business successful. You have to choose. You have to go for sustainable options all the time if you want to succeed. Because if not, then of course there will be a weak point in your setup. As soon as there is a weak point, there is always a danger, a risk to fall off. And this is definitely what you need to avoid. Therefore, sustainable approach to issues is absolutely important as well. Of course, we have to be realistic. we have to be realistic, because facing you, there will be big hurdles, big issues, such as in the retail environment, for example. Okay, so this is my sort of primary take out. That's for free, I should say. But anything else? Anyone else would like to add, contribute to what we have heard this afternoon?
Okay, I'm Javier. I put a reflection on the chat. The question is why there are fewer entrepreneurs from food technologies? Because normally the entrepreneurs come from the business area. I talk with a lot of entrepreneurs. They need in the team food technologies to develop new products in food area. But food technologists prefer to work for a company that to build their own company. And maybe we are doing something wrong. I'm talking as a university.
Okay, so say it again. You said why these food technologies are setting up their own.
Yes, they prefer to work to a company that build their own company. Because I don't know why. Because to be entrepreneur in the food area, I think that they at least in our degrees they study business, they study technology, but they prefer to work for another person that to be their own chief.
So instead of building their own business from the internal situation of being at university, for instance, like at Valencia.
Yes, but for example, a few years ago, I was talking with another company, a small company, and they told me that for them it was very difficult to find food technologies to include in their team, because people from agricultural studies or from food technology, they don't want to be or to be incorporated in a startup, a spin-off, or something similar. They prefer more security, working for a big company or other kind of projects.
Yeah. Don't you think it's something that is changing slightly? At least we have seen situation changing in the last couple of years, say.
I don't know. Few months ago, I think like this, but now, at least in Spain, the economy is improving, is growing, and when the economy grows, the number of entrepreneurs is coming down, at least in the food sector.
Yeah. And you're right. Sometimes because when the offer jobs offered in the market, when the situation is scarce, then you will see more people trying to become entrepreneur because they have no choice but to set up their own business. That is true. But I found, at least that my feeling, I found in the last couple of years, then maybe there is a new era starting where actually young students actually they're quite keen to embark in a new experience which can they make on their own, because the image of bigger companies is not as good as it used to be 10, 15, 20 years ago. Then for a young food technologist, of course he was going to go to join a bigger business, but I think the image of those companies these days or today are no longer what they used to be. So therefore, some of these people actually would prefer actually to set up their own business. But that's not a general point. It's just an observation of maybe a trend.
Yes, perhaps I can add something, Christian. I'm Florence Dubois-Brissonnet from AgroParisTech, so it's a university. And I totally agree with you, Christian, because in the last years, the university increased the information to students that they can launch their own entrepreneurial company, and it's emerging, I think, in the university. The thing that we try to inform much more students today that they can launch their own company. So
Yes,
I think it's emerging.
Yes, I also agree, but I was talking specifically in the food area, because in other areas as technology or other kinds of technology, EPP or something similar, here in our university we have a lot of startups, but in the food area it's very difficult to find students to create their company. I don't know. I suppose that is a question of scale economy, because today the price of a food product is very low compared with an iPhone or something similar. Or these companies also have problems to grow, because the benefit in a food company is in the volume of product that you can sell.
Yeah.
Then we are working in a different scale, I think.
Mm-hmm. The one thing as well I've noticed, this is why at one stage we are talking about, you mentioned actually a patenting opportunity in your situation, Javier, yeah? Which is quite almost unique. Huh? It's not that usual that there is a patenting opportunity in food area. Yeah?
Yes, but now we recommend to sign another kind of document to protect the invention or to protect the process, because we patent because it's a condition to create our spin-off, because we need something to transfer to the spin-off.
Yeah, yeah. No, that definitely right. But that's by the very nature of things, it's easier to patent things in a sort of a high-tech environment, yeah, in a way that in the food environment.
Yes, yes.
It's just by the nature of things, yeah. So therefore, then the kind of business that you would be setting up would be different if you operate in a food environment versus, let's say, a more high-tech environment. Yeah, to make it black and white, I should say. The other comment I would make in the top of what Florence said is what is true as well is the way we prepare the student nowadays is different than it used to be. For instance, the project approach in pedagogy has heavily developed, of course, in the past years. Yeah, and now there is a lot of going through project approaches through the education that we give to our young future engineer, at least in France. Yeah. So this is one. The other thing as well is you see popping up, and we all have more or less access to incubators. If you take the Lyon area, there is a new incubator. I don't know every now and then, but there are more and more month by month more incubators. Very few are actually devoted to foods. But nevertheless, incubators overall, there are more and more actually popping up every week or every month. Yeah, and this is a new trend as well, which I think when it comes to the relationship with universities and schools, and that also benefit to the quality of the preparation, to the quality of the training of our students. And one thing I can recall is in my days, I should say, I guess people were worried about, starting and getting a business or setting up a business. These days, I think it has become more accessible, somewhat easier, at least in the minds of people, actually to take the risk and get it. Yeah, and this is a new situation as well, which wasn't the case before.
Yes, I'm agree with you. Here in Valencia, we have incubators at the university or near the university. For example, Cayetano comes from another incubator, and that is here also. Then we have the media to obtain a lot of people who wants to begin a new business, but I think that we need to focus on food sector, because I think that there are a lot of opportunities, but we need to combine the business people with technologies to obtain better results in this area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. At least I hope Food Lab in particular has been trying to move on that line. It's never perfect, but at least
yes.
we have moved on to the next spot.
Because, for example, for us to participate in Ecotophelia, we prepare each year 3 or 4 teams, and for the students is the perfect experience to do that. But after the Ecotophelia, maybe we need to develop projects like Food Star or Food Lab to achieve this goal, no? That these projects become realities.
Yeah, true. I can reflect on that as as this morning I was precisely attending a couple of presentations from a 2 Ecotrophelia group. They are still in progress, but I think it was very refreshing and very exciting to see how students, young students, can actually integrate all the elements that have to be put together to set up a business. And this is now possible. It wasn't 10 years ago. Okay. So, any other contributions, comments, issues? Are there anything missing we should have talked about and that we haven't?
Christian, I would like also to give another advice to young students, because we haven't discussed this item. Because online channels are coming more and more, and online channels are also for young startups. I'm sure a good chance, and not such a heavy investment with production, etc. To bring their products on to the consumers.
Mm-hmm.
This I would like also to add, and to search some online platforms. It must not be Amazon, because this is also different to treat with, and but there are many good platforms that you can have a market, or make your own platform, and you can have a market at the beginning. You can say worldwide. It wasn't possible 10 years ago, or I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. That's a real new opportunity that you can leverage to actually start up a business. Yeah, and there again, though, it's also a matter how good is your partnership. Of course, if you set up your own platform is one thing, but if you actually liaise with a platform which is not of your own, then of course you have to make sure you're embarking with the right partner.
Exactly. But it is a good opportunity to face this opportunity for distribution of products.
Yeah, that's true. Which as such is a big subject, as you've demonstrated. Okay. Any more question? I see there. I look at the timetable. It's at 10 to 10. Yeah, it's 10 to 5. Anyway, no more questions? If not, I'm happy to hand over to Gerhard or whoever wants to to conclude for this afternoon session.
Hello, everybody. I could not follow all the presentations because I had other issues to do, but I followed something, and I think it was really a good opportunity discuss all these things and to get in touch with the issues of these startups. And I would like to thank also all the attendees who were listening to these presentations, and I just went through the list of people who attended. So we had people from Nepal, also from South America, and of course from Europe a lot. And so this was also a bit surprise. So I think this topic is quite interesting, and I think we have also in the higher education we have to enhance a little bit more this entrepreneurial mindset for the innovations in the food sector. Maybe Benoit also wants to say something if he's still here.
I'm still here. I would like to thank everybody for your participation to the web meeting. Special thank to Christian, to the moderator, because I know it's not the easiest position in the web conference. Thank you to Lynn also to organize everything. I think it's very interesting. From my side, I'm not a food specialist, so from my side it's sometimes difficult to judge, but it's very interesting to know what are the focus of each person. I hear people focusing on the retail, on the relationship with the retail. I hear you, Sylvia. I hear people taking care about the patent issue, about this kind of issue specific to the not specific, but to the food business. And I think it's very important to have this kind of conversation together, because it's really nice to hear the feedback of young entrepreneurs like Sylvia or the others. So thank you, everybody.
I also would like to thank Florence, who is still here, because she was mainly organizing this conference. Florence, are you?
Yes, I'm still here. Yes, so thank you to everybody for attending this conference, which was really interesting, very different. The testimonial were very different each other, so it was the discussion between people were very interesting. So thank you to everybody, and special thanks, of course, to Christian that accepted to moderate the session. And perhaps we will have the opportunity to organize a second session sometime next year, perhaps.
Yeah, and you will receive also a feedback form by email, I guess, tomorrow, and also with the link to the recording, so you can also review and also forward this link to other people who might be interesting. Okay, thank you very much, and if you have any further questions, just contact Foodstar or Food Lab.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.